Hello, so today I'm on my way to a client that I had looked this morning. I've been with him since 2015, October 2015, so yeah, 9 years. Peter's responded really well and done everything really as we've discussed it and given the options. He's been very clear about what he wanted to achieve, and we've worked together to get him there with pasture management and the genetics of the herd. And initially he was milking 75 cows and had all the young stock on the milking platform. He's found a bit of land for the young stock, and so now it's just milking platform for the cows. He's fairly outspoken, much like myself, so he we get on pretty good. In fact, we do catch up for a beer every now and again, and yeah, it's been working well as a relationship. So a bit of an example of what probably I'd see as a more typical Irish farmer, perhaps. You know, the scale and the background has been fairly traditional, I suppose, but there's nothing traditional about Peter as such. So I may have to do quite a bit of editing out of my meeting with Peter. Yeah, look, we'll get to Peter and see how we go. So yeah, here I am with Peter. I said we'd just do it like normally we do on a consultancy visit, but with less swearing. Like I said earlier on, I've been here since 2015, and I was looking back, you were milking 75 cows in 2015, so
yep,
110 this year, yeah?
Yep.
Yeah, so what's changed since then? What have you done differently?
Since 2015 we had a black and white herd over about 6,500 litres, and lots of fertility issues and lots of foot problems. So when Andre came on board, crossbreds, and we were at 475 kilos of milk solids at that stage. In 2022 we're at 540 kilos of milk solids, sorry, 539, just touching 540. 23 and 24 have been a struggle. 2023 just over 500 kilos of milk solids. This year will be less again, but totally weather related. But the crossbred is just great cow, fertility, feet, just a hardy cow, well able for grazing, and I'm not a meal feeder, so it's a grazing cow I want.
Yeah, you're really probably not really the average Irish farmer when I came along, and that you didn't fix every problem with throwing meal at it either at that time. So
no. I didn't have money at that time to to feed a meal, so that wasn't no, I was never a meal feeder. We average about 800 kilos, which is still too much in my eyes, but unless you stop feeding meal at some stage in the year, I don't see how you reduce it. And cows, if we've lots of grass, we'll get 0.6 of a kilo morning, 0.6 of a kilo in the evening, just to keep them quite in the parlour, basically. So,
yeah. I know we'll get down to 500 at some stage, but you know, it's still time.
Absolutely. Well, I'm 52 now, so you have 8 years.
All right. We'll do it once in that time, maybe. And pasture management?
Started measuring grass when you came on board, and that has been a game changer. Yeah. An absolute game changer. At the moment, I think protein is running at 4.3 and butterfat is 5.6 or 5.7. Now, a lot of that down to the crossbred, but we never would have. Actually, when we the black and white herd, we spent all summer trying to get to 3.6 fat and 3.3 protein, and it was usually August, September before we hit that. So grassland management, in fairness to any dairy system, is all about grassland management.
Yeah, and which is keeping meal use down as well, yeah, and setting the costs down. Profitability has changed dramatically.
Absolutely.
So at the moment, average farm cover, to be quite honest, we don't actually really know, because grass measuring has not been done in the last week or so, but we're guessing it's somewhere around the 750, 800, which is 2250, 2300 in real terms. And you know, it's not far away from where we want to be on the 20th of November, so it's a matter of keeping the demand somewhere around the growth rates from now on, really. So one big problem is the area where we're standing is like really wet. It's hard to imagine just how wet it can get, but you know, it doesn't take much more rain and we'd be slopping through here. You know, like Peter was saying earlier on, you know, you drive through it with the tractor and the water squirting out from the wheels on both sides, so you know it's getting a bit dodgy. So the big thing is not to, you know, to try not to carry grass into the winter in this side of the farm that's so wet, which last year, because autumn was so tough in 2023, and then a really tough spring, and you know, this year that's what the struggle was, wasn't it?
Killed production this year, the spring. Cows going into heavy covers, having to go back into the field too many times.
Yeah.
Grazing grass that really should have been in a bale, and even in a bale it still wasn't going to make good stuff.
No, it doesn't magically turn into nice stuff.
No.
Putting it in a bale, but we certainly identified it wasn't ideal to put it into cows either. But yeah, and that's why the whole year has been a result of that, isn't it? It's just been a struggle
Absolutely.
to get to a good level of production. And I mean, usually like to see peak at, you know, 2.4 kilos of milk solids a cow ideally, and this year got nowhere near it. So and that's been the story of the year. But yeah, so all good. We'll go and have a walk around, have a look at some more ground. Cheers. So yeah, just coming back from Peter's there. Didn't do any more filming there. Didn't think any of it was really relevant, and we probably talked a bit more in depth that shouldn't be on camera. But basically we put in a grazing plan for the rest of the year. So looking at the moment, cows going on to about 5 kilos of dry matter and baled silage, 3.5 kilos of meal, and about 10 kilos of dry matter and grass. And that should mean that he'll be able to keep the cows out at the moment till at least the 10th of November, which is pretty good going on that sort of wet ground. And middle of October, going towards the end of October, making sure that he gets through the area that he wants to start grazing on in the spring at the moment, so that those covers will be about the right level when he starts grazing in February. So just putting a bit of a plan together in that regard. Peter is always very good. He does everything that I say in the report, so every visit's followed by a written report that covers the decision making and the reasoning for it, and perhaps some financial backup to it. My suggestion last time was that the poor producing cows should go, and that there was perhaps a few, when I analysed the milk production records, there was a few cows that perhaps should be hitting the road. A bit of an opportunity this year that the cow prices, the live cow prices are lower and the coal cow prices are quite good, that the cost of exchanging a poor cow for a good one are very little. So he's done all that. He's already got rid of all the coals and down to 93 cows or so at the moment, and still has the empty cows, the really well producing empty cows still on hand. So he's going to keep milking them for a little while longer before dropping them. So he's done all that, and it means that he's in a market to buy about 10 crossbred heifers. So just crunching the figures and making sure that everything's looking good, and that all the right decisions are made. He's got plenty of silage on hand for the winter. So grazing plan, wintering plan, everything's in place to put him in a good place for next year, and that we've got the cow numbers and everything right for next year. So yeah, it was a good meeting. Always feels like when I leave, it's almost like a relief to clients like that they know exactly what to do again. They've just got a roadmap in place that just follow the roadmap for the next couple of months, and yeah, just keep doing what they're doing. So yeah, it works well, and for a lot of people like Peter, it just gives them the reassurance that what they're doing is the right thing. It's not rocket science, but it just gives them the backup to make the decisions. So yeah, it was a good meeting, and this is just one of those normal things. What I do feel bad about in these sort of scale situations, like Peter, you know, around 100, 120 cows, so many people are milking 7 days a week. There's no relief staff in place. There's no regular time off in place. So at the moment, Peter's milking once on Sundays, so he's doing 13 milkings every week. So it gives him a morning off. But yeah, I don't like seeing that. Whereas when you see the bigger scale operations with staff on hand, everybody seems to have a roster and they get time off. So it's something I do find in Ireland is a bit of an issue, that there's so many guys that sort of 80 to 120 cows that probably they do too much themselves, and they work huge hours, and just that's what they do, you know. And I guess yeah, I made the same mistakes early in my farming career as well. I suppose I was too tight to pay somebody to milk the cows for me, and they could never do it as well as I could do it. And you think you can only do it yourself, which is not the case. But yeah, look, it's one of those things I sort of question them about, is maybe having somebody coming in regular basis and doing some milkings for them. So yeah, all in all, he's going well. All the bills will be paid. He's making money this year in a very, very difficult year, and it's better than a lot of other people are managing to do this year. So yeah, all good. Interesting meeting as always.